Yes, mate.
Hey, it is I, the one you tried to dodge a debate with. Do you remember me, Vegan Gains? Tried to set up
Yeah.
a debate with you on the problem of evil, and you tried to run away with it, but I guess you can't now. So, yeah, if you believe in the. Well, there you go. There you go.
Why do people come on and do that?
There you go. I mentioned the problem of evil. Oh, we don't have an argument by. There you go. See, Hamza Den will not debate anybody if they have an argument that they can't defeat. It doesn't exist by. You're being too rude and mean or something by. There. So, there you go. Their God doesn't exist and they know it. They know it. They just have some stupid emotional connection to their. They just want it to be true. They want Santa Claus to be real. So, there you go. I'd say that's a win for me. That's an acknowledgement that they know they're wrong, so whatever. Fucking losers.
Have a chance.
I think you should. Yeah.
Sure. All right, go on then.
But he has.
All right.
Give him another chance.
So I'll be on my best behavior if you can't handle me being aggressive, but. So my argument against your religious beliefs are that assuming you believe God to be all-powerful and all-good, you could also use a term like benevolent, then the existence of evil would be a logical impossibility. I think we can all agree that evil does exist, so there being like mass genocides, like horrible things have happened, the war in Ukraine, such and such. The existence of these things disprove the existence of an all-powerful, benevolent God, and so far I haven't been able to find anybody who could give a rebuttal or debunk to that argument.
Yeah, very simple. You can't define evil as an atheist.
Okay, well, we could. Well, first of all, I can.
Go on then.
Okay, well, I could say evil is an egregious violation of somebody's rights or liberties that causes a significant amount of harm. I could name it any number of ways, but we could also look at this.
That's not a definition.
That is a definition.
That's empty. Okay, harm. What do you mean by harm?
Well, if I were to shoot your mother in the face, that would be harm, right?
Therefore, your definition is a tautology.
Well, no, okay. Well, why are you asking me? I think we can agree what harm. I think we can agree. No. You're trying to sidetrack things.
I'm not.
We can make this an internal critique. We can make this an internal critique of your own beliefs. I don't even need to use my own definition.
Your definition is a tautology because your definition included harm. I asked what's harm. You gave an example of something that would be described as evil. So your definition is tautological.
Okay, you're mixing terms. Harm isn't necessarily evil, but
but you defined it.
Okay, do you believe that evil exists?
wait.
Do you believe evil exists? Do you believe that evil exists? Yes or no?
Listen. I just refuted the argument while I have.
No, you didn't. Do you believe evil exists? Yes or no?
Listen.
It's a yes or no question. Do you believe evil exists?
Don't
Yes or
change
no?
the topic now. Don't change the
I'm
topic.
not changing the topic. I'm asking you if you believe evil
all guns
exists.
blazing, saying I have this amazing argument. No one can challenge it. I knocked it down in less.
You're
than
not
10
even
seconds.
engaging with the argument, so I'm asking you if evil exists. Yes or no?
Wait a minute. Of course, I believe evil exists.
Okay, so then please explain to me. Please explain to me how your God could be all good and all powerful despite the existence of evil.
Your argument is only valid if the definitions are coherent. You didn't give a definition except in a way that's tautological. So that's what we need to stick to. So carry on defining evil.
We can do this as an internal critique of your own beliefs. I don't even need to give a definition. So if you believe evil exists, if you believe evil exists, then how could an all-powerful, all-good God exist?
Either you believe in giving a definition or you believe in not giving a definition. Well, yes, you try
to give me a definition of evil.
Wait, one second, my friend. You first tried to give a definition and you failed miserably. Now you're saying you don't need to give a
I
definition.
gave a basic definition and you just
second.
refused to accept that, and then
One
you
second.
tried to tack on terms like harm.
1 second. 1 second. You tried to give a definition and you failed. So let's try again.
You're just trying to avoid. No, you're just trying to avoid engaging with the actual argument. So you believe that evil exists, correct?
Wait a minute.
You're not engaging with the argument, and now you're just trying to argue about my own specific definition of what evil could be. So you believe evil exists, whatever that might be. Please explain to me how evil could exist despite the existence of an all-powerful, all-good God.
Argument that someone puts forward, the natural thing every philosophy graduate does, even a graduate does, is ask for the terms to be defined. This is a standard practice. All I simply did was ask.
We'll go by your definition of evil.
And wait 1 second.
We'll go by your definition of evil.
No, I'm not. You're cornered now because you tried it and you failed.
Well, no, you're cornered, and you've done everything to avoid a debate on the problem of evil because you clearly can't debate it. So we'll go by your definition of evil.
And you failed.
We'll go by your definition of evil.
Should we let him start again?
My definition. Wait, 1 second.
We can go by your definition of evil.
Listen, 1 second. Firstly, you failed completely because you couldn't define it. But my definition of evil is the color red is evil.
Okay, so if you take that to be evil and your God is not evil, in fact, he's all good and capable of evil and all powerful, then how could evil exist? And that could be the color red. Please explain.
Wait a second. I define.
Okay, you're trying to dodge. You're just trying to dodge and not engage with the topic.
1 second. Two things.
I think anybody watching this will just know you're being a clown right now.
Anybody watching this will see you try to define evil in a way that's tautological. Then you asked me for my definition. So I said the color red is evil. Now show me how the existence of the color red is making.
Is only red evil?
Incoherent.
Is only red evil?
No, I think red and yellow is evil.
Okay, so rape isn't evil, mass killings aren't evil, you only believe red and yellow are evil. I'm not asking, I'm asking you genuinely, that is your own personal belief and you're not trying to be...
I don't believe red is evil or yellow is evil. You said come up with your own definition. So hypothetically, playing with you, what I'm trying to show you
I'm
is
asking
the way
you,
you define red,
asking
the way
you
define
if
evil,
you believe if evil exists,
reflects upon
how
your
can you
argument.
justify that with the
you're
belief
not
of an
understanding.
all
What you're
good,
not
all powerful
understanding is
God?
this. You remember what you're doing.
They're
You're
dodging.
coming up. Listen, you're the one coming up with an argument against God. Are you not? You're coming up with an argument against God. Yes or no?
Yes. And that can easily be an internal critique of your own beliefs.
Do I have the right to ask you to define the terms in your argument? Yes or no?
Well, I don't need to use a term like evil by my own standard of evil. This is an internal critique of your own beliefs.
Wait a minute. You want to come up with an argument, yet you don't want to define the terms of that argument.
Okay, do you believe that it is a logical problem to believe that there is an all-good, all-powerful God and there is the existence of evil? Is that not a logical problem?
No.
How is that not a logical problem?
Firstly, I'm going to go into that next. First, I want you to define evil. Because for us to be talking... Your argument, for it to make sense, we need all the things to be defined properly. So firstly, you need to define evil. Because I can define evil as anything. I can say the color red is evil, right? How do you define evil?
Yes. Well, if I'm going to say personally, I suppose I would define evil as a violation of rights or a production of harm beyond a threshold for which I would say feel comfortable with.
So your evil is subjective.
Wait.
Your evil is subjective.
What do you mean by harm? What do you mean by harm?
Well, wait. Let me ask. I think this is an important point.
A dentist is harming the child.
Well, I want to talk to Hamza because he brought up an interesting point that I think is pertinent.
No, but I'm talking to you. It doesn't matter whether you want to talk to Hamza.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Well, he interjected into the conversation.
Oh, it's my show.
Both of you get to blab at me, but I can only respond to one.
No. Don't worry about me.
Come on, man.
I'm enjoying you and Subboor.
Don't get upset. Don't
Okay,
get
then,
upset.
well, wait. Then don't interject. Don't add anything to our
I'll do what I
conversation
like,
because
mate.
apparently only Subboor.
I'll do what I like, mate.
How do I pronounce your
Anyway,
name, by the
continue.
way? I don't want to
Anyway,
mispronounce it.
continue. Stop whinging.
You can call me Mr. Red.
Okay. Well, anyway, I gave you a definition of evil just then.
No, you didn't. Because what
I
you did
did.
is you actually defined evil with the term harm, and the term harm included an act that you consider to be evil, which is tautological.
Okay, I could define harm as both physical and psychological damage to an organism.
Right. So would that mean that a dentist who is removing a bad tooth, that is evil?
No, again, that's not a violation of rights, and that is not a production of harm beyond a threshold
Okay.
that I would
Okay.
consider.
Define rights. Define, because rights don't exist.
Well,
under
rights.
atheism.
Well,
It's
yeah,
something
rights have to be granted, and I would say I would grant
Granted
somebody
by-
the right to
granted
choose
by
to go to
who?
a dentist.
Granted by who under atheism? Under atheism, who grants?
Well, it would have to be by other people. I like again. You're trying to. This
I'm
is
not
not
trying.
related
I'm
to the discussion, and you're
question
trying to
Wait a
avoid
minute,
the
wait a minute,
actual
wait a minute.
critique.
Wait a minute. I give you the
You're
right.
trying to
I
avoid
give you-
the
I give
actual
you a-
critique.
I, as a human being, give you a right. Is that what
Like,
you're
look,
saying?
this
That
is just
right
getting into an
comes from-
infinite reductio. Do I have to explain to you, like, what existence is, like, next? Like, what is
I
right?
know.
What is harm? What are words? What is wind? I'm not interested in this. I'm
Wait,
interested
wait,
in the
wait,
logical
wait.
problem of evil.
Vegan gains. Are we having a philosophical conversation?
Well, no, we're not. We're
we
actually
are.
having
We
a fucking
actually are.
linguistic conversation because
But
apparently,
because a
we
linguistic
share
conversation
such
is a
radically
philosophical
different
conversation.
values that
Mr.
I'm going to
Vegan
have to end up
Games,
explaining to
a
you
linguistic
what words are.
conversation is a philosophical conversation. You said we're having a linguistic conversation, not a philosophical one, but a linguistic conversation is a philosophical conversation.
Okay, great. The problem is you believe in an all-powerful, all-good God, but evil exists.
Again,
There is
you're running
a
away
logical
from the-
contradiction with that
You're running
belief.
away from. Look, you use two terms. Harm and
By
right.
the way, I told everybody this was
You
going to
haven't even
happen.
gotten to rights
You
yet.
are
You
not
haven't
going to
gotten to
engage with the topic, and you're just going to blab. And I knew this was going to
I'm actually
happen.
engaging
That's why
with the-
Hamza, when I initially brought up this topic for debate, ran away and refused
Let's
to
go
even
into
have a
rights.
discussion
Let's
with
go
me.
into rights. Define a right. Define a
I
right.
don't need to. You believe that
Why?
evil exists, and you also believe that there is an all-powerful,
my
all-good
definition-
God.
my-
That is
my
a
defi-
logical contradiction.
My definition of evil.
That's
is
not what
a-
you actually believe. That's not what
Of
you
course not.
actually
Of course
believe.
not. So now, okay,
So you
firstly,
can't even
shall I-
engage with
shall
the
I-
conversation
shall I-
honestly.
Shall I try and
Tell me
explain to
what you actually
why-
believe
why
evil
is
is.
not a problem for me? Shall I explain to you why evil is not a problem for me?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so let me just. So for anybody watching this right now, we can
And
just-
but wait. I just want to clarify. I want you to explain why the problem of evil isn't a logical contradiction. That's what I meant by wanting you to explain.
yeah, that's fine. Well, what else did you mean?
Well, you said, I want to explain why evil isn't a problem for me. That could mean a lot of different things. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to engage with the problem of evil and explain why it's not a logical contradiction. You could just say, well, I personally don't care about certain evils or evil in general. So I want you to engage with the actual topic of the problem of evil.
I think
Like,
I've
why is it
understood-
not a logical contradiction?
I think I've understood it pretty clearly. Can I explain now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let me just recap how we got here. Before I explain why the problem of evil is not a logical contradiction for Muslims, you poorly attempted to try and explain why it is a logical contradiction, but you couldn't do so because atheists do not have a definition for evil, and your definition included two things which you refused to actually define. Actually, no, you did define.
I
you
did a
actually
perfectly
define-
adequate job. You
did
just
actually
refused
define
to
harm,
accept the
but the way
definition.
you defined harm was in a way that was tautological. Then I asked you to define rights,
That's not
and
a
you
ta-
didn't
How
actually
is that a
define rights
tautology?
except
W-
by
w- wait a
subject
second.
to other human
Wait
beings.
a second.
So now we will get
Wait
into
a
why,
second.
why it's not a logical. Wait. Let me
Why? How is defining harm as physical and psychological damage to an organism a tautology?
Because you're giving an example of something that's evil.
Well, no, part of my definition of evil involved harm, and then you asked me to define harm. So how is the definition of harm, physical and psychological damage to an organism, how is that a tautology? I'm not asking you whether or not my definition of evil is a tautology. How is that definition of harm a tautology?
I never said the definition of harm is a tautology.
Oh, okay,
I said the definition of evil is a tautology,
if
which by the way, you've just shown that it actually is. Because you
I
thought
don't see how
this means you weren't listening for the last 10 minutes. I wasn't saying harm is a tautology. I was saying your definition of evil is a tautology. If you weren't even listening.
Okay, and how was that? Well, you did. That's what you said, and okay, fair enough. If that's what you believe, please explain to me how my definition of evil is a tautology.
Just 1 second.
Just quickly, guys.
Your definition,
Because
your definition of
Just 1 second, Subboor, 1 second.
Just 1
Second,
second,
just-
guys. I'm sorry. I gotta leave. I'm really sorry.
All right, no worries, dude. Jazakallah for coming, bro.
Likewise, Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum. Guys, take it easy on vegan games. He has taken too many losses already.
He's getting triggered. We're having fun.
You haven't even made an argument against the problem of evil. You haven't explained anything, and all you've been trying to do is make me explain definitions when it's
what I
pointless
did is I showed your argument was incoherent. Totally.
Well, I even offered to make an internal critique of your own beliefs just to streamline things, and you refuse, and you just want to railroad everything.
Free for all, where you don't even let me complete my sentence. I'm just going to go into what I actually wanted to speak about, something else which you didn't let me complete. Your definition of rights are given by other human beings. How on earth are those rights objective in any meaningful way?
They're not.
Exactly.
Okay.
So your very definition of evil is incoherent.
Okay.
Because rights do not exist under an atheistic worldview. Are you an atheist?
Do you understand what the term
you an
objective
atheist?
means? Yes. Do you understand what the term objective means?
I think I have a fair idea of what that means, and I think I have a fair idea.
Please explain to me what
understand what that means.
Well,
that means it's true.
Objective means mind. Objective means independent of a mind.
So why don't you explain to me how an atheist can believe in human rights?
Wait. Objective means independent of a mind, correct? We can agree on that definition?
Independent of human subjectivity.
Well, it would be independent of a mind.
Not necessarily.
Well, independent of human subjectivity
because a mind can believe 1 + 1 is 2, and it's objective.
Well, yes, but that would be true without a mind present.
Yeah.
Right. So you agree with the definition. Objectivity means independent of a mind. So, like, let's just say the Earth would be here if we were here or not, right? Like, if we were to just vanish, the Earth would still be here.
No, look, that wouldn't make a difference, because you could actually have a human mind that is conceiving of objective truths.
Well, yes, we can perceive objective truths. We can perceive reality.
Let's stop running away from
No. This is pertinent to the discussion. No, this is pertinent to the discussion because
how can you, where do the rights come from? You said from other human beings. So I want you to complete that line of thinking, because the statement I'm going to make is the following: atheists have no right to speak about rights, because rights don't exist under an atheistic worldview. There is no.
How do they not exist under an atheist
rights
worldview?
Or ethics or morality or any of these things. So let's just.
Well, wait. The basis for that is that you believe they're not objective, correct?
Use the problem of evil against God doesn't make sense as an atheist. However, I'm going to ignore you, and I'm going to pretend a theist is asking me the question: how can you reconcile the concept of an all-loving God with the concept that there is actually evil in the world? And the answer is very simple. The concept of an all-loving, all-powerful God is not incoherent with the existence of evil, because evil and good both are part and parcel of the test of life. So we don't say God has created this life for a cosmic disco where everyone's going to live forever and be happy. That's not the Islamic theological worldview. That's not the Abrahamic theological worldview. That is a atheist straw man, as if we should all be living in this cosmic disco. So for a theist, that's the answer I would give. But for an atheist,
Okay,
I'm going to give the
great.
answer that I gave.
Well, we've actually gotten to the topic now, which is great. I'm going to ignore the other issues with the previous.
You're going to
argument
ignore
we're having.
you're going to ignore yourself.
Well, no, because we've finally gotten to the actual topic.
It's probably a wise decision because you couldn't even define it and you got humiliated online.
So you claimed there's no logical problem with an all-powerful, all-loving God allowing the existence of evil because God has the intention of putting people through trials and tests and tribulations. I don't know. I don't understand how an all-good God would have an interest in doing that. If he's all good.
Wait.
Like that's like me saying.
Wait. 1 second. You just said interest. Did I mention interest?
So God doesn't have an interest in testing anybody. You just said that.
No, I said God does that, but you're saying what interest would God have? Meaning your question now is not about incoherency. Your question is about God's will.
Yeah, so you claimed that there's no logical contradiction with the existence of evil despite the existence of an all-powerful, all-good being because God had the intention to put us through trials and tribulations, correct? Am I getting that right?
Yes, and another way of putting it is there is nothing incoherent about the existence of evil and the existence of all-loving, all-powerful, all-wise God. Where is the incoherency?
Right. The problem is that evil exists, and if God is all good, he would not allow evil to exist. And your only explanation for that is, well, God has an interest in having evil exist, which would be a contradiction.
Vegan Games, I asked you a question. I said, where's the incoherency? You simply restated
I just pointed it out. If God is all good and he's all powerful, that means he would have the power and interest to not have evil exist. Now, by claiming, wait, let me finish this thought. Let me finish the thought. Let me finish the thought. You keep railroading me every fucking time I'm about to make a point. There we go. Okay, I'm done. They're fucking losers. Holy shit. Okay, so their only argument is, oh, well, God's all-powerful and all good. The reason he lets evil exist is because he just has an interest in allowing evil to exist. That's a contradiction! Oh my god! This is like saying, oh yeah, is God all good? Okay, does he not like evil? Oh yeah, is he all-powerful? Does he have the power to stop evil? Yeah. Okay, then why are people being tortured? Because he wants people to be tortured. That's a contradiction, and then he wouldn't allow me to point out the contradiction and just started fucking railroading me. Oh my god, they're fucking morons. I told you. This is why Hamza Den avoided debating this topic with me and refused to fucking schedule a debate. This is why they fucking kicked me off the stream to begin with. And this is why when I got back on, this fucking moron tried to railroad the whole discussion fucking constantly. And then when I was about to make a pertinent point that completely destroyed his argument, they just kicked me off. Holy fucking shit, that's stupid. So, like, to sum it up, basically, if God were to be all good, if he were to be all powerful, evil could not exist. The existence of evil is a logical problem for the idea of an all good, all powerful being, because an all good, all powerful being would not allow evil to exist. His explanation for why evil exists despite the existence of an all powerful, all good God is, God just has an interest in allowing evil to exist, which is a logical contradiction. They can't come up with a fucking argument. Oh my god, that's literally the worst. I've seen fucking Christians and Muslims bring up things like, oh, but free will has to exist, or like it would be evil to deprive us of free will. So, but like I've heard better arguments. They're so stupid, but his argument was literally in and of itself a contradiction. So he was not allowed, he literally could not argue at all. Holy fuck. No, I don't want to go back. They just keep kicking me. What's the point? Like, he couldn't even come up with an argument. He literally just said, God is all good, God is all powerful, but he allows evil to exist just because. That's his fucking argument. I already won the debate. So what's the point? They just keep kicking me off and talking over me. They won't let me fucking actually make an argument. They keep fucking railroading the discussion for no fucking reason. And you could see the guy's face when he actually brought up the problem of evil, which is what I wanted to fucking discuss in the first place. He was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, dude, that was the most annoying fucking religious debate I've ever gotten into. Dear fucking God.
Next time.
Yeah. Well, I wanted
next time,
to...
keep profanity if you don't mind to yourself.
Sure. I think I only swore
I don't know what you do on your
once.
channel, but here we don't have.
Yeah, I think I only swore once, but
but
sure.
I tried to mute you and then you swore.
Would you have like literally 5 minutes? I'd like we don't even.
Maybe in 5 minutes, Subboor.
Yeah. So I didn't want to argue with you.
One second. I'll set timer 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I didn't want to debate you on problem of evil anymore. There was another interesting thing that was brought up on morality being either objective or subjective. If you agree that God has a mind and God is the one who creates these moral principles, would that not by definition make his own moral principles subjective? And if you agree that they are subjective, then why does God's moral principles, which are subjective, somehow outrule or are more valid than my own moral principles, which are subjective? I just like your answer. And maybe we can debate this in another stream.
Sure. Firstly, we as Muslims, we wouldn't say God has a mind. We would say God has knowledge, right? Now, we would not say that God's knowledge of morality, what is right and wrong, is subjective. The reason we wouldn't say that is because human beings, when we are referring to them as subjective, we are referring to them in terms of their limited cognitive architecture, their limited decision-making processes, their limited ability to know all of the ins and outs and actually come to the right decisions. But God is all-knowing, all-perfect. So when God says something is right and wrong, he's talking from his perfect knowledge. And from that perspective, that is objective, that is not subjective.
Okay, so he doesn't have a mind. So I'd also like you to explain like what your version of a mind would be, because like he can see things, correct? Like he can perceive things. Like would that not be definitionally a mind?
In Islam, the only words that we use to describe God are those words that are found in the classic Islamic literature. And the word mind is absent. So that's why we don't use the word mind.
Okay, well, you could not use the word mind, but would that not, by definition, be a mind if he's able to, like, he's not just literally a library, right? Or like a book where there's like lists. So like he can perceive things, he can talk to people, like obviously he has a mind, right?
So one of the principles in Islam is to reflect upon creation, do not reflect upon the creator. Because the creator's essence is far greater and far more transcendent than anything human beings can comprehend, which is why anything that you conceive of in your mind as God is not God. God is too great for that. So we would not use the word mind.
Well, I could accept the idea that he's like so superior to me or something like that, but again, that doesn't get rid of the problem of him either having or not having a mind. Because you can be amazingly superior and have like a cognitive capability that's so vast compared to mine. But if he's able to perceive things, able to communicate with human beings, like you would have had to have communicated with the Prophet Muhammad, right? Then he would have to have a mind of some sort.
No, the thing is, we don't rationalize God like that. We simply only use the words for God that are described in the classic Islamic literature, and we don't go beyond that. Because it's actually a vortex of, not even a vortex, it's almost like the more you try and delve into it, the more heresies you'll come across, right? Which is why Islamic scholars say that you only describe God by what he's described himself as and what the Prophet has described him as, and you don't use any other term besides what's been used in classic Islamic literature.
Sure,
and the word
sure.
mind can be used, yeah.
But whether it's heresy or not to question what God is, you would have to agree that he would, by definition, require a mind to have the capabilities he has. because
No,
he
I
can
mean,
perceive
a
things.
mind is very, like, we have a mind, we have a brain, you know, we have, this is, look, God is beyond time and space.
I'm talking about a mind, not a brain, because like I mean, a brain could possibly not have a mind, right? Like if you're dead, you don't have a mind anymore. By mind, I just mean having a consciousness. So just being able to perceive anything, something would have a mind.
We wouldn't use the word consciousness or mind with God. We would simply only use the words that God has used. So God is all living, all powerful, all loving, all knowledgeable, but we wouldn't use words like consciousness and mind.
Sure, but like again, you're describing a personal preference not to describe God in a certain manner because I don't know, like it might be heresy or something. That
It's
doesn't
not a personal preference. It's basically Sunni Islamic scholarship agrees that God should not be described by any other name or attribute other than what is known of him. And what we know clearly is God is beyond space, time, perception, anything we can imagine, far more transcendent than human beings can even conceive of.
Okay,
and we just leave it there.
I'll just ask you one more question because I know you want to leave. Would you agree, like, with like a very simple definition of a mind is merely something that has a consciousness?
A mind is something that has consciousness.
So it could be as simple as a lobster, could be as complex as a human being, could be like amazingly magnificent and complex as a god, simply that it has a consciousness.
I'm not really sure about that. I'll have to think about that because words are quite tricky like this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. Maybe I can come on again. We can debate that specific topic.
Right.
All right.
Take care.
That's it. Civil. That's how we like it.
Yeah, take care. I don't know why they couldn't be that way before, but yeah. So again, they didn't have an argument. So he kept trying to run around the argument rather than acknowledging, okay, well, yeah, God would have to have a mind. Well, in Islamic scholarship, we don't try to think about what God is or isn't because it's like a form of heresy. It's like, okay, but he would still have a mind despite that. Well, no, because, like God's really big and like impressive, but he would still have a mind. Just over and over again, it was just like weird excuses and dodging and not accepting the fact that God has a mind. So they have to do that so they don't have to acknowledge that their own beliefs are subjective